This August 25th Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content and contests, including our NFL Win Totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app to get last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Use the promo code SGPN for $20 off. And we're brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, August the 24th. We have a full slate of action. 14 of them are priced up for Friday, August the 25th. And we have a stellar team of handicappers tonight. Not only have you got me, you've also got Mr. Dylan Rockford. Dylan, A, hello, and B, how smart do you look, son? Look at his little face. He's so happy with his new shirt.
I love it. I'm counting down the days till Saturday. Once this package came in, shout out Barry from getting it from Nottingham, the current grounds, you know. It's beautiful. I haven't had a smile on my face this big in a while, but certainly the Mets aren't giving it to me. But Barry, shout out you for the jersey. Can't wait for Saturday. Big game against Man United.
Now, it's an early $1 fine for talking soccer, but yeah, you look great. I've never seen you so happy. And also joining us, Mr. Scott Reichel. Scott, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty well. You know, I was roasting this Yankees team for a while, but they're starting to grow on me because they've made me a ton of money in the past couple of weeks. It's been a great time for all of us involved.
Yeah, well, there's two teams that need talking about tonight. We'll get onto that in a minute. I'm just going to say hello to everyone who's joined us. Trev was first in. Trev was in early. Trev was here 4 or 5 minutes before kickoff time tonight. He wasn't getting beat by anyone. Randy chased him home. Kane, cards. Hey, Kane, how you doing? He's asking a soccer question. 1-1 is the answer, Kane, to your question. Matthew's here. Moona for the bosses here. Shit, everyone. Behave yourself, sing the company anthem, etc. Right, the two teams we need to talk about are 1, the LA Angels, and 2, the New York Yankees. Now, do you want to talk? We'll talk about the Angels now, because I think this is a little bit further reaching. Then we can talk about the Yankees when we get to their game in a little while. But yeah, overnight, the Angels officially sort of fell to pieces. And I don't think anyone in baseball at all is really enamored with the news that Shohei Ohtani will be pitching, certainly for the rest of this season, and God knows for how long after that. I mean, I woke up, and when I saw the news, my instant reaction, my instinct, it was inevitable. I just felt like you were waiting for it. Like there was no way this could go on forever. It was superhuman what he was doing. And I just felt, oh yeah, that figures like, but as a measure of the man, just on a level as small as what happened yesterday, he got that news in between the two games of a doubleheader. So he's pitching the game, he had to come out. He then gets the news. He then goes out in game 2 and absolutely rakes with the bat again. The bloke's just unbelievable. Like, I mean, the lesser news, remarkably, is that Mike Trout came off the IL, sat on the bench for 2 days, and went back on the IL. So that was the end of him. I mean, Scott, there's not an awful lot you can say about any of this, can you?
About which part? Ohtani or Trout?
All of it. The whole thing's just a fucking mess.
It is. Truth is, if you've been following the Ohtani over the last month or so, you can tell that the Angels were basically just waiting for him to die because he kept getting pulled from starts and he kept getting pulled early from games. And there were a couple of times he had some cramps a couple of weeks ago, and he was still playing the game after. They just weren't giving him any days off at all when he clearly needed it. And it looked like the Angels were literally waiting for him to just fall apart physically. I have a fun conspiracy theory. They're waiting for him to get injured so they can pay him less money in the offseason. That's my fun conspiracy theory. They couldn't afford him, so they figured, screw it, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Ohtani got hurt. At the end of the day, when you're putting that much strain on your body day in, day out, and you're getting no days off in between, your body can't handle it. And I know I'm like half joking, when I said that the Angels were kind of playing some 3D chess by trying to maybe reduce the asking price for Ohtani by getting him hurt. I know I'm kind of being facetious there, but to be honest, that might have been the Angels' argument. It might have been, you know what? He's going to leave in the offseason anyway. Might as well get all we can get out of this guy. And as a result, they killed him. So I hope you're happy. You ruined a really, really fun thing in the sport. Am I reading too much into it? Because I thought they should have traded him. I think we all did. They went for an all-in push. It failed miserably. And then the Angels looked over and said, well, this guy's going to maybe get paid $500 million during the offseason. We're still paying Trout. We're still paying Rendon. They can't afford him. So what are they supposed to do? They just throw him out there and, the Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies. That's kind of how I interpreted the entire situation. I don't know if you got that Rocky IV reference or not, but there you go. Did you get that Rocky IV reference or not?
No.
Did you ever see Rocky
I discussed it. In fact, it was the Premier League show last night, not the baseball show. But I think I've seen 7 films in my life, Scott.
Okay, well, so, Rocky IV's with
Rocky IV's one of them.
Really, really tall Russian guy, and he basically just says, like, are you aware that you basically killed the guy? And he's like, if he dies, he dies. That's how the Angels treated Ohtani. They just said, you know what? We're going to make the playoffs. We don't care what happens to you. You might leave in the offseason anyway. Get out of here. Enjoy. Here's playing every day and pitching every 5 days, no matter how many times your finger bothers you or no matter how many times you have a leg cramp. Suck it up and you're going to play. And I'm not surprised his body fell apart. The writing was on the wall for this, right? I mean, you said it was inevitable. You mentioned because of how just unfathomable the actual, level of play was. I mean, I'm talking about the warning signs of him getting hurt every week for the last month and a half, and the Angels weren't even giving him days off.
Are you worried that he's going to continue to bat, though, through this?
Didn't he do this his first year? He got hurt again when he was pitching and he was still hitting in the end?
Yeah.
I mean, the argument is he's going for 60 home runs. Is he going to get there? No. But if that's the argument, you're trying to create a media frenzy. It's the only reason why anybody even cares about the Angels up to this point, because they're not going to make the playoffs and Trout's hurt again. So if you're doing it for the media circus, then sure. Then again, the Angels, they're going to be selfish about it. My question is, if he's going to leave in the offseason and you're probably not going to bring him back, why would you rest him? You want to bring fans to the ballpark and he's going to leave in the offseason anyway. Sounds like a cruel thing to do, but I'm just being honest.
No, I agree. Go. My fault.
No, go
I
on,
sound
mate.
like a dick, but I'm just being honest.
No, I agree. I think it actually complex free agency a little bit with Ohtani. You said a lot of teams are going to throw a lot of money at him, and I agree.
I don't know if you can pay for somebody with a bad arm.
But honestly, ironically, I think this gives the Angels a little better odds to keep him. I know you were partially joking, but I agree. I think him getting hurt now, I think he could sit back and be like, oh, well, maybe the market isn't as big as I thought it was going to be after this injury. I might as well stay here with a loyal team like the Los Angeles Angels.
A loyal team that killed me in the process. But, we'll see what happens. I'm just saying it was a bidding war. He's still going to get paid a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Ohtani's still going to get like $400 or maybe $500 million. I still think somebody's going to pay him. Having said that, would I personally pay $500 million for an elite hitter, an MVP caliber player whose arm might be in serious question for the near future? I would not pay him $500 million. $400 million maybe. $500 probably not. So you can argue maybe that took $50 million off the top, something like that, maybe. But I think he's leaving anyway. But I do think for Ohtani next year, I'll put it this way. If there's season-long props and I can take like the over on ERA or the under on innings pitched, I'm gonna fade Ohtani pitching next year. That's all I'm saying. I'm not backing a guy off a serious like elbow arm surgery to pitch well when he's gonna be on a serious pitch count, pitch innings limit, and once again his arm might struggle. I do not have much faith in Ohtani pitching next year. I'll put that out there.
I just think the whole thing for me, as a fan and as a watcher, is just unsatisfactory. Really, the whole thing's kind of panned out. Although you always got the feeling it was inevitable, a little bit like when DeGrom went to Texas. You just waiting for it, and it was just my instinct when I saw the news this morning. I wasn't surprised. Like I just figures.
I was just disappointed.
Disappointed for everyone, baseball fans, and the entire country of Japan, and anyone who likes a bet or likes the sport or likes sport in general, and these one-time phenomenon players that you see. So the whole thing's just slightly unsatisfactory.
I'm
Right.
going to ask you, though, what do you think the chances are the Angels actually re-sign Ohtani? Like 5%?
I was going to say
10%?
25 now.
25. So either way, the point is that there is a puncher's chance, but the majority of those projections have Ohtani going to another team. So I'm not surprised the Angels kept playing him because they're going to try to get whatever they can out of him before he leaves. That's why they should have traded him.
Yeah, and it's funny, the GM came out and said that he showed no signs this past month of leading up to it. I know.
Wasn't he in like a massive slump for like a month, and he kept leaving games early because of injury? Like the writing was on the wall. I could have told you he was going to get hurt a while ago. I didn't think it'd be this bad, but I'm not shocked that he had a season-ending injury of some kind where they had to shut him down because he physically could not throw anymore.
If you're a GM, Scott, and you're like the Giants or one of these big market teams that are probably going to be after him, are you worried about paying him $400 or $500 million as a pitcher? Because this is the second time in about 5 years he's going to have this surgery. You know, like looking forward, I don't think he's going to be the same pitcher. Hitting, I think he's still going to be a stud, but I don't know about pitching anymore.
Well, that's my point. That's why I would not pay $500 million for him, because I think he's going to be a limited pitcher. I think he could still be effective at times. Do I think he's still going to be able to start X amount of games, give you 7 innings per and strike out 10 per game? No, I don't see that happening. I think he's going to regress again. So once again, I'll fade Ohtani pitching next year. Hitting-wise, he's still going to be great. He's proven that he can still hit through injury before. But I think it does take some of the, I'd say, appeal of paying the $500 million guy. I would not pay him $500 million, but once again, one team will. I think it might be Seattle. If I had to guess, I think Seattle might do it, but I think that once again, he will get paid that money. I would not pay him $500 million. Would you?
Matthew in the chat's suggesting Seattle as well. That's where he's going.
Malcolm, would you? Would you pay Ohtani $500 million off a serious arm injury?
No, not because I think there's. Well, the one thing he does, he brings other things apart from just the
massive
the
amounts of money from Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
With fans. Massive amounts of money for jersey sales.
Certain markets could probably get away with it, and there's other markets that can't.
It was like Yao Ming with Houston. He got injured every year, but you were still making so much money selling jerseys in China that it ended up working itself out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, there's definitely a team for him. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes away, teaches himself to throw left-handed, and comes back and wins a Cy Young. That's the sort of bloke he is like. So we need to handicap some baseball, boys. We're going to be here forever.
You want to talk about the Yankees? I don't know why. We've been fading. I've been telling you to fade them for a month. You've made a ton of money. You might have been able to retire if you've been fading them. They were minus 210. They lost 9 of 10 games. They're laying 210 today.
Scott, we're talking about the Yankees in a little minute. Shut up. Game time. Tickets and stuff. Tickets is a nightmare. My Champions League tickets. There you go. Newcastle Champions League tickets. My money comes out the bank tomorrow. That's a stressful time. But you won't get any stressful time buying tickets with Game Time. You're not hunting down the best price. Come people that buy things like that. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theatre near you. You'll get the last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee. Lots of our network colleagues have used Game Time for things like the flash deals, last-minute tickets, the event cancellation protection. You get tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theatre. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll get the best price if the tickets in the same section in row. If you find them for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets that you want without the stress by downloading the Game Time app, creating an account, using the code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Create an account, redeem the code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And Underdog Fantasy. We're in the last week of August now, so it's nearly football time. You're running out of time to draft your fantasy football team on Underdog Fantasy. Get championship ready for your home league by trying out Best Ball on Underdog. It's a live snake. There's no draft, no waivers. Just set it and forget it. The Best Ball Mania tournament has $15 million in prizes, including a wild $3 million first prize. So visit underdogfantasy.com, find them in the App Store, sign up with the promo code SGPN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay. Oh, Baz has turned up to have a look at Dylan's new shirt. Baz is delighted. Well done, Barry. Big effort there. Dylan, I've never seen Dylan this happen. It is, Scott. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Barry, this is the happiest I've ever seen Dylan. You've put a smile on his face bigger than any girl he's ever known. Okay, we'll start with the 6:40 Eastern first pitch. The Houston Astros at the Detroit Tigers. Framber Valdez, left-handed pitcher for Houston. And Matt Manning goes for Detroit. -170 on the Astros, +150 on Detroit. Total is at 8.5. As we speak, the Houston Astros have been torn a new one by Boston. They are 17-1 down. They've given them 24 hits tonight. I'm guessing there's some position pitching going on since I came in here about half an hour ago. But yeah, Dylan, we'll let you lead us off with the Astros at the Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully the bats stay a little cold for the Astros because I'm going to take the under here. I got a 9. I still like under 8.5. I made my total 8.3. I think we'll actually see a lower scoring game. I know Framber Valdez really hasn't looked good in the month of August, but under the hood, I don't think he's been that terrible. His hard hit rate on the road the past 5 games has been around 30%, so it's under that 40% threshold. And I think this may be a good spot for him where he could bounce back. He already has a win against this Tiger team earlier in the year. He only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings in that game. And on the other side, Matt Manning, since returning, he's only had 3 home starts, but 2 of those 3 games have gone under the number. Small sample size, but he does seem to be better, pitch better in Detroit. So I'm going to back both pitchers here. I think we'll see a lower scoring game, maybe like a 4-1, 4-2 type game, but I'm going to go under 8.5 here.
Okay, Dylan takes the under, Scott.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to lean to Houston on the run line here. Maybe it's just because of the fact that they're getting buried right now. I'm hoping for a better effort tomorrow. Might be one of those where they got embarrassed and maybe they'll have an extra chip on their shoulder for this matchup. Valdez, I think, is the better pitcher. I know he's been struggling a bit lately, but I think that he's still better than Manning. Manning's home road numbers are pretty alarming, and he's been really bad at home. 6.05 ERA compared to a 3.57 ERA on the road. And to look at the last couple starts Manning's made, he was good his last 2 outings, both them on the road, though. His last couple home starts, though, 5 2/3, 8 runs allowed, 6 of them earned against the Rays. Had a 5-inning, 7 earned run start against the Angels. Outing before that, 2 innings, 1 hit against the Padres. I don't really know why he only pitched 2 innings there, but each of his last 3 home starts, the Tigers have lost by at least 4 runs, and the Tigers have allowed at least 10 runs in those as a team. I'm going to go with the Astros on the run line here. Once again, maybe I'm overreacting to them getting up for a random game against the Tigers, but they lost 17-1 at home. I'm expecting a much better effort this time around. I'll lean to the Astros run line.
I've gone completely the other way and taken Detroit here on the money line, +150. I was quite disappointed with the fact Houston got battered tonight because I handicap these games is, as you all know, sort of in the afternoon my time, before all of this has started. And part of my handicap said I would struggle to take Houston at the moment, just the form that they're in. And then they go out and do that tonight. Manning I just think he might have found something in the last 2 starts. I know there's the home road splits that Scott mentions, but his last 2 starts have been okay. I don't mind the Detroit offense as well. There's a couple of players who I've been waiting on to come good. Akil Baddoo's another one who's been going okay. I just think of the prices. I can't be laying -170 with either Valdez or with Houston. So the alternative is the big dog. We'll take Detroit +150. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the Washington Nationals and the Miami Marlins. We have Yoan Adon going for Washington, and left-handed pitcher Braxton Garrett goes for Miami. +188 on the Nats, -192 on the Marlins. Total is 8 or 8.5. Yoan Adon, 1-0 on the year with an ERA of 7, has appeared in 5 games, has started in 3 of those. He was going okay until Philly got to him last time for 6 earned runs. Washington have won his last 3 starts. It's just a really average profile for a Dunn. Is all really you can say about that. And watch Washington tonight. I wasn't impressed with the lineup when they roll it out on paper. but then they don't play on paper, and Washington got it done again tonight. They've been going really well, and they've been going well against left-handed pitching. We point this out a lot, but it just seems to go under the radar. How many times this week? I mean, I was saying Washington at a price of over 150, and they just go and win games. Braxton Garrett's been excellent for Miami, 7-4, 3.94 ERA. He's got a 2.57 in his last 5. He's given up maximum 3 earned runs. He's faced some good opposition as well. The Dodgers and Houston are in there. Miami have won 4 of his last 5. I do like Washington. I've enjoyed following them. They've been profitable for us. But I can't fade. I've got to fade it done. And Miami is so much better at home. So much more comfortable at home. I think they're 10 games over 500 at home. So that's enough to swing it. The price is short, so I'll take the run line. So I'll take Miami to cover the spread, Scott.
Yeah. What did you say the money line was on both teams?
Plus 188 Washington, minus 192 Miami.
Yes, that's what I thought. You mentioned how you can't lay like 178 with Valdez and the Astros. Yeah. There's no way in hell I'm laying 190 with the Marlins. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, right. You're looking at the Nationals. They've won 9 of 12. So 9-3 in the last 12. I'm not fading that team. I know Adon last year was an auto fade, and most of his career was an auto fade, but this year has actually been okay. Garrett's been fine too, but it's mostly just based on the line here. Miami's only 2 games over. It's not like they're, once again, a great team. They've completely fallen apart in the second half. I just think when you're looking at a line, I think this is a little bit too large. I would have Miami as a favorite, but I think that 150, maybe 160 is fair, but I mean, 190, I think you're pushing it. I'm taking the Nationals. Once again, they've won 9 of 12. It's not like they're a bottom feeder that's been rolling over. They've been competitive lately. They've been winning some games. Give me a pretty big plus money price in the spot.
I can't argue with it at all, Scott.
Yeah, I'll hold my breath and take the fish on the run line with you as well, Malcolm. I know they've been awful, and Nationals, they've been very competitive, 9-3, like Scott said, in the last 12 games, but they really haven't been competitive against the Marlins this year. They're 0-6 head-to-head, and Garrett does have a nice win over them in D.C., but he's just a much better pitcher at home than he is on the road. He's only allowed more than 3 runs one time in his last 7 home starts. I think they have the pitching advantage on top of Adon not being someone I really want to back on the road. Gives up a lot too much hard contact for my likings. And like you said, Mal, they're just the Marlins are just much better at home than they are away. I think they've been dying to get home from this road trip. So as long as we're getting plus money, I'll take the fish on the run line.
Okay. It's now Yankees time, Scott. You'll be pleased to hear. I'm going to tell you first about DraftKings. College football is back this weekend, I think. Traditions, tailgates, and all the great offers from DraftKings Sports. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly if you bet just $5 on any college football bet. Dylan, who's the college football bet of the week? You a college man?
Yeah, I like Jackson State. I also like New Mexico minus the points.
So I said Jacksonville State earlier in the week. Okay,
hey,
on the same page.
Okay, and we've had Ohio thrown out and Notre Dame as well. So there you go. Parlay all of them bad boys. Kick off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app, use the code SGP. New customers score $200 in bonus bets instantly if you bet just $5 on any college football bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. The SGP Patreon is a great place to get across to. Check it out for things like the NFL Win Totals contest. Got a $1,000 first place prize. The Stories podcast is live up there, featuring this episode. It's the birth of the network, which is a great tale. The Discord channel's a belter as well. So help us with the fight against corporate gambling. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. 6:40 the first pitch is the New York Yankees at the Tampa Bay Rays. Garrett Cole for the Yankees and Zach Eflin for the Rays. Plus 120 on the Yankees, minus 136 on the Rays. You can have a 7 or a 7.5 as a total. Scott, when on earth was the last time we've just seen Garrett Cole at plus 120?
It's a good question. I don't know, maybe on the Pirates?
Or plus anything.
Like I say, maybe on the Pirates back in the day? I know with Houston, he definitely wasn't getting plus 120. Well, this is kind of the problem because the Yankees have been giving us a free fade for the last couple of weeks, and they've been a massive favorite price in pretty much all these games. Now the markets have kind of adjusted because they realize it doesn't even matter if Cole's pitching because this team can't win. So that's the tricky part. Do I want to fade Cole at like minus 135? I think Tampa's going to win the game. Having said that, I think there might be a little bit of value on the first 5 under. I still think Cole's a good pitcher. He's the favorite to win the Cy Young. I'm not going to suddenly roast Garrett Cole. It's not his fault the offense can't do anything. So I'm going to go with the under. I think that once again, the Yankees offense has been doing nothing besides Judge, who has 4 home runs in the last 2 games. I think the Yankees went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position today, so they can't get any big hits. And you're assuming Cole will be able to do his thing. I like the first 5 under. It's probably going to be at 4, but I do think you're going to see a lower scoring game early on. This is the type of game Tampa's going to win, like 3-1, something like that. You know, Cole does his thing, 7 innings, 2 runs, still picks up the loss because, you know, the Yankees don't care about supporting him. I'll be on the first 5 under. I think you're going to see a lower scoring game.
Dylan?
Yeah, getting a plus 120 with Cole is very tempting. I'll say that, but I kind of skinning it the same way. I'm going to take the Yankees first 5 plus at half. I do think Cole can keep the Yankees in the game to the first half of the game. Hopefully even have the lead. You know, Cole and the Yankees, they played the Rays down in Tampa earlier in the month, and Yankees were up 5-2 in the first inning in one of the games. And even back in May, they were up through the first 5 innings down in Tropicana as well. So he does pitch well on the road. He's favored to win the Cy Young for a reason. So I hope the bats could wake up for him tomorrow. Keep it close, at least tied going through the first 5, and we could cash. But at plus 120 with Cole on the mound, I mean, it is very tempting. I don't think we'll ever get this, especially on the road. But I'm going to take him first 5.
You can take Tampa team total under if you want to just completely ignore the offense and just back Cole by himself.
Yeah, that's smart too. Yeah, I like team total for Twins as well. And also, I'm going to take the Yankees first 5 plus a half.
Yeah, the Yankees for me. First of all, that win yesterday against Washington meant they avoided their third 10-game losing streak in their history. That would have been, they'd lost 9 in a row. But they're literally a one-man team. I watched the highlights this morning, and Aaron Judge hit 3 homers, which is great because he's killing Captain Insano for me in our matchup. And then he comes up today and hits one off his first pitch, the first pitch he saw. But then, I don't know if you saw, so they're 1-0 up, you're talking basics. Higashioka hits one off the wall to right centre, pulls in at second base.
Oh, you mean when he gets thrown out to third base? Yeah, of course.
Fucking hell. Yeah, so I think Volpe comes up, grounds it to third. Higashioka takes off, get tags out. Obviously, as a result, Volpe gets to stand at first because they got the lead runner. Corbin then comes out the stretch. Volpe takes off, and they get him in a rundown. So you make 2 base running errors. It was absolutely unfathomable what they attempted. And whisper it quietly, Tampa Bay might be back. They've won 8 of 11, 7.6 runs per game this month, 16 homers this month. And you just said the Yankees went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight. Tampa Bay Rays this month are hitting 393 with runners in scoring position. I'd looked at the under, but I'd want another half a run. I'd want it to see 8. It doesn't. I'm just going to take Tampa. Dead straightforward. Minus 136, please. 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Colorado Rockies at the Baltimore Orioles. This is the one game that's off the board, and I don't know why. Well,
I don't see a picture for Baltimore.
So. I have lines. DraftKings opened up lines. You want them real quick?
So Kyle Freeland just going for the Rockies, lefty, being confirmed all day, and I'm only just this second. So Cole Irvin listed, another left-handed pitcher for Baltimore, and Dylan has the lines for it.
Yeah, minus 185 for the Orioles, plus 154 for the Rockies. Over/under is 9, minus 120 towards the over. Even money on the under. Minus 1.5 for the Orioles, plus 110, plus 1.5 for the Rockies is minus 130. This is my game as well.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take another run line. Give me the Orioles minus 1.5 at plus 110. I'm actually really surprised we're getting one of the best teams at home at plus money on the run line. Rockies are not good, and they're even worse on the road, while Orioles, like I said, they're wagons at home. They've the last 6 wins at home, they've all come by the run line. And Kyle Freeland, he's just a total fade in my opinion right now. And Cole Irving, whether he goes 5 or 2 or 3 innings, he's been really good for this Oriole team this month. Only 1 run given up in 14 innings in the month of August. So I'm not going to overthink this one. Getting plus 110 on the run line is a really good price, I think. So I'm going to take the Orioles here on the run line.
Scott?
Yeah, I got nothing to add. I'll take the Orioles run line at plus money. I think that once again, you're getting one of the better teams in the league against one of the worst road teams year in, year out that traded away pretty much all its offensive star power or everyone's hurt. There's really nothing to like about Colorado. So, yeah, I'll go with Baltimore as well.
Yeah, I've got the same play. It's a bit lazy, but Freeland's given up 3 or 4 every start, and Irvin's found something. He's gone from these relief appearances to a couple of starts. He's been absolutely fine. This Baltimore lineup was just relentless. It's absolutely relentless. It's got the little vibes of how Tampa were going early in the season, where you just don't get a minute's rest against them. Every one of them can damage you. 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Chicago Cubs at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubbies. And Mitch Keller goes for Pittsburgh. Minus 122, the Cubs. Plus 110, Pittsburgh. And the total is 9. Kyle Hendricks is 5-6 on the year, a 3.83 ERA. His recent numbers are somewhat inflated by a pasting he received in Atlanta on the 4th of August, which is fair enough. Atlanta have pasted better pitchers than Kyle Hendricks. But other than that, he's been fine. 5 or more occasionally innings pitched, maximum 3 earned runs, and he's better on the road. He's got a 2.86 road ERA. Keller is 10-8 on the year with a 4.22 ERA, and actually has a similar profile in that he's got 1 bad start at Milwaukee. I think it was the same week, 4th of August, 3rd, 4th of August. Other than that, he's been fine as well. I think both pitchers can go well here. A bit of a slow burner, and I will take a first 5 under, Scott.
I think for this one, I'm going to go with the Cubs. Hendricks, I was roasting earlier this year, but he has been a little bit better lately. Keller was really bad post-All-Star break, but he's kind of he's regained his form a little bit. But it's mostly just getting the much better team at a cheap price. Pittsburgh, we know, is not a great team. They've been, respectable at times offensively, but for the most part, we know the Cubs are a better team. So I do think, once again, you're getting a Cubs team that's still playing for something. Pittsburgh only has pride, but I do think when you're looking at how these teams match up, I think we'd agree that the Cubs are the more talented team on paper. So I'm going to go with the Cubs here. I just think they'll find a way to get the job done.
Yeah, I think the prices are absolutely spot on, like perfectly priced up. When I looked at that, I had a little wry smile of, okay, the book's got us there. Dylan?
Yeah, I actually grabbed a flyer on the Pirates when they opened up a plus 120. I grabbed that. I only made the Cubs a minus 110 favorite. I think the Pirates actually have a shot here. Like Scott was saying, Mitch Keller, he's been a little better recently, and at home, he's just much better than on the road. He hasn't been that poor either at home. He just really isn't getting the run support that he needs to win the game. But, they've been scoring a little more recently, averaging around 5.6 runs per game. So I feel like if they could score 5-6 runs off Hendricks in that bullpen, I think they are live at home. So I'll take a flyer on the puppy.
7:05 Eastern first pitch is the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. It is the Lizard Eater, Miles Mikolas, going for the Cards. And Christopher Sanchez, left-handed pitcher, goes for Philadelphia. We have lines of, let me see. Can't find them. There they are. Plus 115 for the Cardinals. Minus 132 for Philadelphia. Total is 9.5, Scott.
Yeah, for this one, I think I'm just going to take Philly. It's really difficult to back the Cardinals in this spot when you have a contact-friendly pitcher against a lineup that's been as good as the Phillies lineup has been for the last couple of months at this point, especially with Trey Turner remembering how to play baseball. But for this one, I'm going to go with the Phillies. The Cardinals are, I don't want to call it the exact same game as the game we just talked about with the Cubs, but it kind of feels that way, where you're looking at a pitching matchup where it's kind of even, but one team is still competing for something and one team's clearly better than the other team. I just feel like the price is too short. I'll take the Phillies.
Dylan?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Minus 132 with the Phillies. I made him a minus 160 favorite. I just think the Phillies have the pitching advantage here with Christopher Sanchez. He's been better than his record indicates. He's only allowed more than 3 runs one time at home this whole season. So, and I really don't like what Miles Mikolas at all, especially this month. 2 or more runs given up in 6 of his last 7 games. Phillies are just a much better team at home. So maybe one of those unit and a half plays, but minus 132, I think that is, I think they are the right side here.
I'm getting a right big in my bonnet about Miles Mikolas. I'm like, need to start a podcast on things Miles Mikolas, terrible things that Miles Mikolas has done. So we went for the lizard eating. And then he plunked. Who did he plunk and got turfed out? Was it Contreras, maybe?
Oh, it was Happ who he hit, I think.
Oh, yeah, for no fucking good reason.
No, Contreras was the one who got hit by the bat. And then he
and they
ended
were
up hitting
fine,
Happ
yeah.
instead.
Everyone was fine about it. It was purely an accident, apart from Mikolas. Pete Alonso accidentally threw that ball into the crowd this week.
That's great.
Mason Wynn. Was it Mason Wynn?
Yeah.
His first hit. And again, purely by accident, Alonso was completely and utterly apologetic. He was a bit distraught. They got the ball back. Everyone was fine, except Miles Mikolas, who stood at the end of the bench, not even in the game. It just barked pure vitriol at Alonso. Like, the bloke's a lunatic. Like, the more I hear about him, the more I dislike him. In that case, I'll take Philly at minus 132.
And can I just say real quick, Pete Alonso's very cheap. Did you hear what he gave him afterwards? He gave him like a signed bat.
The signed card, was it tequila?
And tequila. Come on.
He got the ball back, though. He did get the ball back as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he did say it was an honest mistake, but
that's
hilarious.
Everyone knew that, except Miles Mikolas. 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Cleveland Guardians at the Toronto Blue Jays. Tanner Beebe for Cleveland and Chris Bassett for Toronto. The Lions are plus 130 on Cleveland, minus 155 on Toronto, with a total of 8.5, Dylan.
Yeah, gonna go with a total here, under 8.5, minus 118. My total came out to a low, 7.7. I actually like both of these pitchers a lot. Chris Bassett, he's one of those guys you want to back at home. And Tanner Beebe, he's been really solid since the beginning of July. He's faced the Blue Jays earlier in the month. He went 7 scoreless innings. The game finished 1-0. Both of these teams, I think I said it a few pods ago, but they've both been dead under teams this whole season. And the 1-4 game series they had in the beginning of the month, all 4 games went under this series. Back-to-back games finished 1-0. That's what these teams do. They're just a low-scoring team. So I think we see another low-scoring game, maybe 4-2, 4-1 kind of game, but under 8.5 seems too big. So I'll go under here.
Okay, 1 vote for the under, Scott.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't have much more to add. Cleveland's offense, we've been roasting for a while. Toronto, we know, can be head cases at times, but I'm still a bit distracted by how ugly the series was the last time they faced off against each other. 8.5, I just think is too high. Bassett, you mentioned before, has been good at home. Beebe, I like. I think he's a very underrated pitcher. So I'm going to go with the under in this game as well.
I think the same, and I found a different way of backing it. So I love Beebe. He's been brilliant. He's been reliable and excellent. Chris Bassett's been really good as well. Cleveland today have got that double header that they need. Well, double header. They've had to resume a game against the Dodgers that was rained out in the
They're
third
about to
inning.
get swept in the doubleheader because I think the Dodgers have the bases loaded in the 5th inning, up 1.
With no outs.
Yeah, with no outs.
So it's not a fun travel spot for them to play sort of 1 3/4 of a game today before heading off to Toronto. And in that first game, obviously because the starting pitcher had to go out from the day before, they'd used 5 relief pitchers. So I don't know what's happened in this second game. So Toronto late tomorrow live bet might be a good thing. But I'd say Cleveland team total under is going to be my pick, which is a bit clunky. But really like Bassett, I think it could limit Cleveland anyway, but it could certainly limit Cleveland, who were a little bit tired and a bit half-arsed after this doubleheader today. So I'll take a Cleveland team total on the under, which does play into the profiles of the game that you boys handicapped. So happy with that. 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers at the Boston Red Sox. Lance Lynn for the Dodgers. Officially TBD for Boston, but we think it's Cutter Crawford. Minus 108, the Dodgers. Minus 112, Boston. Total is up there. 10.5. It's a big one. Scott?
For this one, it's a bit tricky because it's going to sound intimidating to try to fade a team that scored 17 runs yesterday. But based on how good the Dodgers have been for the last couple of weeks, I just think this price is too short. I know the Red Sox have been good too. Like, I'm aware that once again the Red Sox are fighting for a playoff spot and they have not been any slouches in their own right. But getting the Dodgers at this cheap price does feel like a bargain because they're really not in many pick'em games at this point. Lance Lynn, I criticized the acquisition. He's been fine for the Dodgers, but Crawford's been pretty good lately too. But if you're asking me which team I think is better, I think it's the Dodgers. Which team's in better form? The Dodgers are one of the hottest teams in the league. I just think for value, I think the Dodgers are the play because, once again, you're not typically getting them at this cheap price when they've been this good for the past month and a half. I'm going to lean to the Dodgers in this spot.
Okay. Dodgers, Scott, Dylan?
Yeah, I can't believe the Dodgers are underdogs in this spot. I mean, I get Lance Lynn is going for them, but like Scott said, he's actually been really good since coming over. I made him a -125 favorite. I think that might be a little too big, but -108, I'll take the short dog price with them on the road. Red Sox have been solid. There's no doubt in that, but let's not pretend the Dodgers aren't the hottest team in the league right now. And, like I said, Lance looked good since coming over from the White Sox. Maybe it was the change of scenery that he needed, but I don't like really backing Cutter Crawford at home. He's given up 2 or more runs in 5 straight games at home. So overall team, it has to be the Dodgers. -108, very short price. Let me go with them.
Completely the other side. I'm taking Boston here. Lane has been outstanding in his last 3, but 4 of his last 5. He's pitched at home, and I don't want him on the road. Boston can get to him. Boston have been getting to most people. They've hit homers in what was 20 of their 21 games in August. Make that 21 of 22. Verdugo hit one leading off tonight, a lead-off homer. Boston are just a good price. It's a close game, fair prices, but I don't want Lynn on the road. And I like Cutter Crawford. He's sort of in and out of the rotation this year for various reasons. But I like him, and I do like this Boston lineup. So I'm going to give Boston a chance to get one here. 7-10, back to the top of the page. We go. The LA Angels at the New York Mets. The Angels officially TBD. I think it's Tyler Anderson going for them. And we have Kodai Seng.
So.
Oh, okay. Dylan, can you split the tie?
I did see Tyler Anderson, but I don't
ESPN
know.
right now has Sandoval listed, so maybe it's going to be one or the other. We'll see.
Yeah, okay. So we got one or the other. We've got +114 on the Angels. We have -135 on the Mets with a total of 8. I've got Anderson handicapped. It makes a little bit of a difference because Sandoval is better than Anderson. I thought the first thing I've got written down, the Angels v the Mets. It's like 2 fat blokes arguing over a salad. Neither of them want whatever's on offer in this game. Neither of them are really interested in it. But one of them's going to win. It's inevitable. Kodai Senga will start with. He's been 10-6 at home with a 3.19 ERA. And he's been outstanding lately. 2.93 in his last 5. He's 5-2 at home with a 2.63 ERA. The Mets have won 4 of his last 5. I had it down as a pretty straightforward pick. I don't want anything to do with the Angels for a start. Obviously, the Ohtani thing and the Trout thing. And you don't know what effect that's had on the clubhouse as well, really. But looking at Sandoval's numbers, they're fine if it is him. 2.42 in his last 4 starts. So pretty middling. And the Angels have lost all 4 and lost a load of them. In fact, they've lost all 4 by a shitload. They've lost 18-4, 12-0, 8-3, 5-1. So the nearest they've got to their opposition is within 4 runs. And that's with the better of the 2 pitchers. That's convinced me even more. Either way, give me the Mets at -135, Dylan.
Yeah, really the only time I like backing the Mets is at home when Senga's on the mound. Grabbing a -135, I think that is a good price. I think the number is still fine. Senga, he just pitches better in Queens for whatever reason. While you mentioned it, the Angels, they have no fight in them right now. They're hurting. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost Ohtani. And then the first day Mike Trout comes back, he goes right back on the IL.
Well,
so,
what's the rule with Ohtani, by the way? So he's not pitching anymore, but he's still going to be in the lineup? They're not shutting him down entirely, correct?
No, just pitching.
Okay, that's what
like I say, he got the news at in the half between the doubleheader and then went out and just hit another home run immediately. The bloke's fucking ridiculous.
But yeah,
I've got to stop saying blokes. It's confusing everyone as well. The man. Good.
I just think this team is done. It seems like they kind of checked out, and I kind of like the Mets as well. But I just don't know where the runs are going to come from for the Angels, to be honest. So I think they have the better pitcher who pitches much better in Queens. So give me the Mets. I think he performs really well tomorrow. So give me them on the money line -135.
Okie doke. 2 for the Mets. Team right, Scott?
I'm actually going to take the Mets run line. I'll go for the plus money price
fancy.
here.
Nice.
I just think when you're looking at, once again, how these teams match up, you can argue that these teams are pretty even, but with the injuries Ohtani's still in the lineup, so I don't even know if that counts. But with Trout being injured still, I think morale-wise, the team's shot, but Sanga's been really good, and you're looking at Sandoval, who's been kind of hit or miss, but he gives up some base runners, which is concerning. But I think when you're looking at this overall price, the Mets, despite being a bad baseball team, which they are, tied for last place, shout out to the Nationals, but still, they are above 500 at home. They're 31-28 at Citi Field. So they have been a good home team all season long. And you do have a West Coast team traveling east, which is usually not a good look. I'll go with the Mets run line. It's going to be a pretty nice plus price because, once again, you are the home team, so you're losing it at bat maybe in the ninth inning. But I'll go with the Mets run line. I think it's going to be a good plus price against a team that I want nothing to do with.
Scott, do you think Mike Trout is overrated?
Overrated is not the right word because talent-wise, he's one of the best players of the modern generation. I do think when you're looking at his overall body of work, I can't call him a what-if, but I think he's not as big of a franchise-altering player as people think. So it's tough to call somebody that overrated because when he's healthy, he's the reincarnation of Ken Griffey Jr. Like, it's really tough to fully break somebody down like that, but I have to point out he's had basically no clutch moments in his entire career, but baseball's a team sport. So I'll call him the Felix Hernandez of hitting. Can I call him that?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'll tell you what he fits into for me. We talked about Steven Strasburg earlier on. When I came into baseball, all you heard about was Mike Trout, this, that, and the other. But I think I missed all of that because he hasn't done an awful lot since. He's certainly not been franchise altered because that franchise hasn't altered. So it's just someone, I haven't seen any of that great. He has good seasons, but he's in the glob of other good players who do some good things, then disappear for a bit and have peaks and troughs and injuries.
Well, the argument is if you would extrapolate his numbers for a full season, then his numbers would be insane. But he gets hurt every year, which is not your problem. That's his problem. So if you want to factor in durability, then I guess, yes, he's a little bit overrated because he can't stay healthy. But based on talent, he's one of the best players I've ever seen. Like I can't forget what he is when he's healthy.
Yeah, I agree. I think like his talent is off the charts when healthy, but that's the thing. Your best availability. He's always hurt, and he's only in his in like the playoffs. He really didn't do anything. He's batting .083 with a hit and a home run in 3 games in his postseason career. So you're like you said, he doesn't have that defining moment.
Can I compare him to like Embiid? I mean, Embiid only has 1 MVP award. It's a different sport, but they have no playoff success whatsoever.
Yeah.
They've not really had any big moments at all, and you can't really rely on them late in the year because they're always hurt. Is that a fair comparison?
No, I think that is fair. Can't get past the second round.
Embiid's a basketball man. I know that.
That is correct. Look at you. Look at you.
Good job.
There we go.
Yeah. Hey, check out the big brain on me. I think the saddest thing about Trout this season, when he asked Mookie Betts in the World Baseball Classic, is this what the playoffs is like? It's just like the sort of thing that should have a sad trumpet playing in the background. Like it's just heartbreaking.
Also, I'm not going to say that he's fully overrated. All I am going to say is with the World Baseball Classic, zero part of me thought Trout was getting on base, and that at bat. Against Ohtani. At no point did I think he was going to get on base. Did you? At no point did I think he was going to get on base.
I'd love to see it come down to that, though.
You do. I didn't say that it wasn't a great moment. I'm just saying at no point did I have faith in Trout to actually get on base in that at bat.
Okay, 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the Oakland Athletics at the Chicago White Sox. We have Zach Neal for Oakland and Dylan Cease will go for the White Sox. The lines are plus 176 for Oakland, minus 198 for Chicago, and the total is 8.5, Dylan.
Yeah, very ugly series here in Chicago. Munaf and I were talking yesterday about how there'll be a lot of runs in this series, which I think could also be the case here in this game. But we're getting plus money on the White Sox on the run line. And I think if you want to back a side in this game, getting plus money against one of the worst teams in the league, I feel like has a little value in it. White Sox are coming off that walk-off win against red hot Mariner team. Maybe they could carry a little momentum into this series. One they should actually win. Zach Neal going for the A's, kind of a relief guy, but he's just awful. In games where he's come out for the second inning, he's allowed a run and received a loss in all of those games. So not someone I really want to back. And Dylan Cease, he really hasn't had the best season, but he has been solid in the month August at home, especially. So White Sox are the better team. They should win this game. Getting plus money on the run line. I'm going to hold my breath and take the White Sox on the run line.
Scott?
I don't have anything of value for this game. I don't like anything involving these teams. So if you bet on this game, maybe you should go to a meeting. I do personally think that Cease is the most overrated pitcher in the league, or he's up there. I think last year was a fluke. If you just go through his overall career numbers, I think last year was an anomaly. And I think that he's a standard middle rotation guy, but people pretend he's an elite pitcher because of one season. But once again, the Athletics are using a reliever who has an ERA north of 8, and the team's terrible. And according to Malcolm, they got a double-A lineup out there every day. So I don't know what there is to like in this game. I guess I'm going to lean to, I mean, Gill-off total bases I don't mind, which is what Matthew's mentioning. I like Anderson hits. I think Anderson has a standard 2-for-4 game here. I can see him going for 2+ hits here, but it's mostly player props. I really don't like anything involving the lines here because I'm not laying 190 with the White Sox. That's not going to happen. And Oakland, once again, is a double-A team. They're one of the worst teams I've ever seen. So give me some player props, and I'm just going to pass.
Matthew and Trev in the chat like Geloff player props. If Dylan Cease went to a team that had some player development, I think it'd be great. I think in like 2 years' time, we'll see Dylan Cease on somebody like the Marlins, pitching really, really well. I took the over here. Moonaf and Dylan said last night it was going to be an over series. Don't really want any part of it. It'll be way down my list of things I want to bet on a Friday night. But if I was forced, going to me head over 8.5. 8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Texas Rangers at the Minnesota Twins. Dane Dunning for the Rangers and Sonny Gray goes for Minnesota. Plus 110 on Texas. Minus 125 on Minnesota. Total is 8.5. Dane Dunning 9-5, 3.19 ERA. He's been rolling along really nicely. His last 5 starts, he's given up 3-1-3-1-3. That means it's 1 tomorrow. He's got a 2.98 road ERA. Sonny Gray gave up 4 earned runs last time. I think probably because we handicapped him. I keep saying we. Say I handicapped him quite positively. So probably jinxed him. Gave up 4 earned runs. And that's as bad as it gets, I think, for Sonny Gray. Texas have kind of been scuffling lately. This is a really tight game. I actually thought it should have been tighter on the books. But I'm going to take the under. I think Dunning and Gray will both go well. I'll take the under 8.5, please, Scott.
Yeah, for this one, I'm kind of leaning with you with the 8.5, but I really have not been a fan about Gray's performance since the first couple months of the season. He's been fine, but he set the bar really high. So I think that once again, some of it's just regression back to the mean. Dunning's been really good this year. I was not expecting Dunning to be a borderline ace of the staff, but here we are. Having said that, Texas not good on the road, and in my personal opinion, I still think Texas is not going to win this division. I don't know who's going to win it, but I don't think it's going to be Texas. I think they're going to end up losing the division. So there might be a little bit of value on Minnesota, but I'm really not a Sonny Gray guy. I'm a biased Yankees fan. Deal with it. So I'm going to lean to the under in this one, but it's mostly because Texas is a 500 team on the road, so I'm not sold on them in this environment either. I'll lean to the first 5 under, but I really don't have much on this game either. It feels pretty close, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. It was hard. It was a hard game to handicap. Dylan, how did you do it?
Yeah, I agree. I think this was the toughest game to handicap on the board. I think the numbers are spot on right now. But gun to my head, I guess I take the small lean with the Rangers getting plus 110. I think they'll be able to turn it around. I don't know if they'll win the division, but I do think they'll be better. If they lost 6 in a row, they're only in first place by a game. They need to win this series. And I think Dane Dunning hasn't been all that bad on the road. I don't think there's much of a drop off between him and Sonny Gray. I agree with Scott. I'm not a big Sonny Gray fan either. I just trust this offense. It will eventually break out of this slump. So I just think there's a little value here with the better team. So plus 110, I'll take a shot here with the Rangers.
I like Sonny Gray's accent. I'm not sure where he's from, but I
like his nickname.
Talk. What is it?
Pickles.
Should I be getting this myself, or do you need to tell me?
I don't know where it came from, but I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that's Sonny
okay.
Gray's nickname.
Okay, yeah, that is a solid. This is a conversation for another day, but I'm a huge nickname fan. I'm sort of in charge of nicknames around here. If there's a nickname to be dished out, I'm the man
What's
who
yours?
gets to dish. Oh, again, it's a story for another day, mate. I've got dozens of them. None of them would make any sense, but yeah, make me laugh.
I don't know where the Pickles nickname came from, but I just remember one time hearing it's like, yeah, Pickles back on the mound. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Sonny Gray.
Shit like that.
But at least for hockey, you have Vlasic, which makes sense. His nickname's Pickles because Vlasic is a pickle brand. Like, that makes sense. I don't know where Sonny Gray's came from.
A good nickname with a good story is one of my favorite things. 8:10 Eastern first pitch, the San Diego Padres and the Milwaukee Brewers. Yu Darvish for the Padres and Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers. Lines are plus 112 for the Friars. It is minus 125 for the Brew Crew. Total is set at 8 for Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Brew Crew. I can't stand the Padres, and I don't know what to expect from them on a game-in, game-out basis. Milwaukee, once again, is a team that's not going to wow you when you watch them on TV, but they somehow end up with more runs than the other team more often than not, so I'll take the Brewers. It just feels like with Woodruff being at home, Woodruff is one of those pitchers who's really, really good, but he's always injured. But when he pitches, he's really good. Darvish has been a bit of a mess this year, but it's mostly fading San Diego, who I just can't trust. I'll take Milwaukee at home.
Okay, Dylan takes Milwaukee. Sorry, Scott takes Milwaukee. Dylan, where are you going?
You there?
Hello, Dylan.
You on mute? Hello? Test?
Oh, no, I'm here. My fault. Brewers, Padres, right? No, my internet went out. My fault. But no, I like the Brewers here at home. I got them at minus 115. Another team that kind of has been catching fire. They won 5 in a row, and they're trying to distance themselves between them, the Cubs, and the Reds. I do think they'll win the division, but I'll take them on the short number, minus 118. I made them a minus 140 favorite. I like what I've seen from Woodruff since returning. They've won 4 of his last 5 starts, while the Padres are just not good on the road. They've lost 5 of Yu Darvish's last 6 starts. So give me the Brewers to keep it rolling. And by the way, I was looking up how he got the name Pickles.
Okay.
He was in Oakland, and people were just throwing around the name, and he goes, I don't know why, but I just chuckled and I kind of liked it. I don't know why. I really don't have a good answer.
So there is no origin story. He just likes somebody who yelled pickles at him. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's even better.
See, that's good enough for me. I'm all for it. Sign me up. I like him even more than I did. Where we go? I'm taking Milwaukee. Again, it's a good price. I don't just look around for reasons not to take the Padres, and if I can find one, I'll fade them. And I found lots pretty quickly here with Darvish, 400 in his last 2 starts. The Brewers are rolling. The Brewers won 5 in a row. The home and road records, 35-27, the Brewers at home, 26-34, the Padres on the road. It's a big old difference. Give me the Brewers at minus 125. The chats, we're talking ourselves into a Sonny Gray K prop here. We might have stumbled one across. Trev's got the Rangers with a very high strikeout rate on the road recently, and Sonny Gray's been striking batters out 8, 10, 7, and 7 in his last 4. So that might be a play for tomorrow. We move on to 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Oh, we're running out of time quick here, boys. Cincinnati Reds at the Arizona Diamondbacks. We have Brett Kennedy for Cincinnati. We have Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona. The lines are, all the time we've wasted tonight is me trying to find my notes. Cincinnati plus 145. Arizona minus 162. Total is 9, Dylan.
Yeah, going with a total here. Give me the over 9. My total came out to 9.9, almost a 10. So, yeah, I really like the over here. I think the price on the Snakes, it's gotten a little out of hand, but, I do see a lot of runs in this game. Brandon, I'll say just fart because you say it. He's just been awful at home, while Brett Kennedy for the Reds, he's gone over in both of his starts on the road. This sets up perfectly for an over fart. He's given up 3 or more runs in 6 of his last 7 home start. His hard hit rate is around the high 50s at home. So I just think the D-backs are going to tee off of him. And I also think the Reds will be able to score some off of Kennedy as well. 9 seems a little too small. So I'm going to go over here.
Were you laughing at the fact that you said fart there, Dylan? Is that what made you laugh?
Yeah.
I thought we were over that. We stopped laughing at fart in May. Come on.
No, I'm a kid.
We're better than that. the over was my play as well. Although Fart eventually did show us what we've been waiting for all season last time. He had a really good start. And they say Kennedy, it just sounds like an over, doesn't it? And both of these teams, Ellie De La Cruz have been doing mad things again this week. Both these two been funky lately. So yeah, I'll take an over 9, Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over as well. Kennedy's actually been decent, but he was kind of a reliever turned starter, but his ceiling is 5 innings. And you're looking at Fod, maybe he's going to pitch well, maybe he won't, but he doesn't go much length either. With these bullpens, have fun. I'm going to go with the over. I can see some late game heroics from both sides. But at 9, I think this is a little bit low. I think each team gets the 4, which means you're looking at a minimum of a push. I'll go with the over.
The penultimate game on the show is Cowboy time, 10:10 Eastern first pitch between the Kansas City Royals and the Seattle Mariners. Brady Singer for Kansas City and Bryce Miller for Seattle. The lines are plus 170 for KC, minus 192 for Seattle, and a total of 7.5/8 if you want it, Scott.
So for this one, I'm a little bit torn because Singer was really good against the Mariners a couple starts ago, but he's been really bad on the road this season. And Miller, I acknowledge, has been kind of an underrated pitcher for the Mariners, but it's a huge price, as it should be, because the Royals are a terrible team. Touch on this, but I think I'll lean Royals first 5. I think Singer can hang in there. I think he'll pitch decently. Being a massive number and not really wanting to lay it, Singer's been good in the second half of the year. I'll lean to Singer in the spot at a pretty big plus price.
Yeah, my handicap was based on wanting something to do with Singer in the first 5 as well. Because he has been good. And the home road splits, I think, more to do with his overall form rather than where that form occurred. And he has been outstanding lately. And Bryce Miller's been really good. He's pitched well against better opposition than this as well. So there's no reason to expect him not to go well. Total's a little bit low, but I'm going to take a first 5 under here. I think both pitchers can get involved in a bit of a duel, Dylan.
Yeah, Mariners coming off that tough walk-off loss to the White Sox, but I do like them in this spot on the run line. Grab them plus 112. Any plus price is good. Brady Singer on the road, 6.75 ERA. He's given up 40 runs in 53 innings. Batters are hitting 320 off of him. Scott said it. He did have a nice start at home against this Mariner team, but on the road, he's just a different pitcher, in my opinion. And I agree. I do like Bryce Miller. Outside of that start against the Red Sox, he's been solid at home. So I think we're getting the much better team, the better pitcher, getting plus 112 on the run line at home. I think that's some value there. So I'm going to take the Mariners on the run line.
Finally on the slate is the 10:15 Eastern first pitch. The Atlanta Braves at the San Francisco Giants. Spencer Strider for the Braves and Logan Webb goes for San Francisco. Minus 155 for Atlanta, plus 136 for the Giants. Total is 7.5. Spencer Strider, 14-4, 3.57 ERA. Had a little wobble recently, but he's back from that. His last 2 starts have both gone 7 innings and both been scoreless. Was it Washington and the Giants, I think? His last start was against San Francisco. So really, you've got to ask yourself, have they got the adjustments in them from that last start?
Would they have one hit?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure they have got any adjustments. He struck out 10 batters. I know that's his thing. But I just think he can go and do it again. Marcell Ozuna has been great as well. He was 8 for 11 so far in the current series against the Mets. He's Marcell Ozuna batting 9 as well. It's ridiculous. Logan Webb is 8-8 on the year, 3.36 ERA. He's been really good as well. 2.86 ERA in his last 5. He pitched at Atlanta in his last game. 4 earned runs on 9 hits in 6 innings, which isn't terrible, but it's not enough to win. It's going to be the same game. Strider gives up 1 or 2. Webb gives up 3 or 4. And Atlanta can punish them a little bit later on as well. Atlanta on the run line is plus 105. I think they'll beat them by 3 or 4, Scott.
I like Atlanta, but I also like the under in this game. I just think Strider's going to pitch well once again. The Giants not only strike out a lot, but they're really bad against lefties, which is a perfect combo for Strider. I think he's going to pitch well again. Webb I do like in general, but it's also going to be in San Francisco, which tends to be a very pitchers-friendly ballpark. The last time they played with Strider on the mound, the Braves won 4-0. Sounds about right to me. I see like a 3-1 game, something like that. I'll lean to the under, but I also like the Braves.
Dylan.
I'm going to go on the other side. I'll take the flyer, the home puppy. I'll take the Giants here. My numbers only made the Braves a -130 favorite. I think at this number, it's worth taking a look at Logan Webb at home, where we usually do like to back him. At home, he always gives the Giants a chance to win. The question is, can they score off of Strider? You know, they're just 4-6 in his last 10 games, but scoring really hasn't been the problem. It's really been their pitching and defense, allowing 3 or more runs in the past 5 games. So I think Webb could actually keep this one close. The Braves offense hasn't been as hot as I think, we're really used to seeing this season. So I'll take a shot here with the puppy, the home dog. I'll take the Giant +136.
Missed your home puppies, Dylan. It was a feature. It was one of your catchphrases last year. Okay, 15 games in the book. We did well to fight back time-wise there, boys. So, lock and dog to come, and we will who wants to lead off. Scott, go for it.
Yeah, so for this one, for the lock, I had a couple of choices, but I do think I am going to end up going with the Reds and the Diamondbacks over. I just think you're looking at a spot where both offenses can get rolling here. Both pitchers, even if they pitch well, don't exactly go much length. And both bullpens we know are really, really bad. I see runs in this game, and I see runs aplenty. So I'll go with the over 9 in that one. And for my dog, I think I'm actually going to do it. Give me the Mets on the run line at +150. I think 150 is a very generous price. You have Senga at home. The Mets, once again, despite how bad they've been, are still 3 over at home. So they are a very good home team. But you're looking at a spot where I think the Angels, once again, morale-wise, might be cooked because Trout got injured again. Ohtani's hurt, and I don't want anything to do with the Angels. But give me the Mets on the run line at +150. I think it's a good price.
Dylan.
Yeah, lock, I'm going to go to Toronto Blue Jays Guardians. I'm going to take the under 8.5. Like I said, my total is 7.8. Chris Bassett, Tanner Baby, they both really good pitchers. Last series, all 4 games went under. I think we see like a 3-0, maybe 3-1 type of game. So going to go under in that game. And for my dog, I gave out a lot of plus money today, but getting plus money on the run line with the Orioles against the Rockies at home is ridiculous. I know Cole Irving, his record really doesn't indicate he's the best pitcher, but I think he's kind of found it in the month of August. Whether he goes 2-3 innings or 5 innings, I just think this offense is going to just score a lot of runs off of Kyle Freeland. So +110 as my dog, Orioles on the run line.
Okay. I got 2 really simple picks here with 2 really simple reasons. I am fading the 2 teams who were struggling a lot. My luck is the Tampa Bay Rays at -136. I watched that Yankees game tonight. It's horrible. I don't know how they can win a game. It's a one-man team. Aaron Judge could roll up and score all the runs. And if they are going to win, it's behind Cole. But I'm not interested, thanks. I'll take the Rays. And the Rays have been really good lately as well. Everyone was kind of writing them off after they had that little slump, but they've been well and truly back to their April form. So the Rays at -136, and I would also fade Houston, and I'll take Detroit at +150. Houston shellacked today, little travel spot, and I think Matt Manning might just have figured something out over his last couple of starts. So Detroit at +150, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we did it. We did it with 90 seconds to spare. Dylan, what's happening the rest of Thursday into Friday? Do you have work to do?
Yeah, some work to do. NFL article coming out, AFC West preview. So that's going. Week 0's a couple sleeps away, and UFC Singapore, 5 a.m. start time.
Ooh, you're keen.
What's the main event in that card again?
It is Max Holloway and the Korean Zombie.
I mean, Zombie's going to get killed, but okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Scott, what's your big plans?
I'll be watching tennis. That's basically it.
That's fair enough. Everyone, I don't know why we ask you, everyone just watching sport and gambling is what we're going to do. I love these Friday night Premier League games because I'm now only 21 hours away from the Premier League weekend starting, which is good fun. And I'll be at I'm looking forward to the Newcastle match on Sunday where I will go and get full of beer. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Dylan. Thanks everyone who joined us in the chat. Really appreciate it. Good luck with all your bets. We'll be back tomorrow. Me and somebody might be Moonaf with a little log dog total. But until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.